Anime has no shortage of romance, and some of those are more supernatural than others. Here are our top picks for the best supernatural relationships. Anime is a medium to advance all genres. It has entertained me in more ways than one can imagine in action, adventure, and comedy. Shoujo, harem, slice of life, and the like have shown fans new flavors of romance and brought new potential to the date night formula that mainstream media can get all too comfortable with. There's no greater example of how surreal, metaphorical, and outright strange anime romance can get than its supernatural couples. As Valentine's Day draws near, here are a few special romances that can be shown how out of this world love can be. Supernatural and romance, a mix you can never get tired of watching. So let's get to it, shall we? Shall we? Number 1. Inu x Boku SS. Ririchio Shirakin is the protected little girl of the prestigious family. With her unimposing form and affluent status, Ririchio has been a secure and ward young lady her whole life. Yet presently she has chosen to change all that. Notwithstanding, there's only one issue. The young lady has a harsh tone she can't handle and horrible relational abilities. With some assistance from a cherished companion, Ririchio moves to Mason de Ayakashi, a separated high-security apartment building that, as the unsociable 15-year-old before long finds, is home to a large group of odd people. Besides, their idiosyncratic characters are not the most unusual things about them. Every occupant of Mason de Ayakashi, including Ririchio, is in reality half human, half yokai. In any case, Ririchio's inconveniences have just barely started. As a prerequisite of remaining in her new home, she should be joined by a Secret Service specialist. Her new accomplice, Soshi Mikitosukami, is attractive, calm, and however, strangely tenacious and creepily compliant. With Soshi, her new extraordinary neighbors, and the start of secondary school, Ririchio certainly appears to have a troublesome way forward for her. Number 2. Atome Yokai Zakuro. During the westernization of another Japan, people and spirits coincide. Keep up with an agreement between the two. The Ministry of Spirits is set up and people and soul delegates are picked. Lieutenants Kei Agemaki, Rikin Yoshino Kazura, and Ganryo Hanakiri are the human agents and corporate, with Zakuro, Suzuki Shihotaro, and Bonbori and Huzuki separately. Nonetheless, Zakuro can't stand people who acknowledge Jesuit practices so effectively, and Agemaki has an extreme dread of spirits. Number 3. Yamarakunto 7 nin no Macho. At the point when Ryu Yamada entered secondary school, he needed to make a fresh start and lead a useful life. School life, of course. That is the reason he decided to go to Suzaku High, where nobody knows about his vicious delinquent standing. Nonetheless, sadly, he is long before exhausted. Presently, a subsequent year, Ryu has returned to his old ways, languid with horrifying grades and continually getting into battles. At some point, back from one more office visit, Ryu experiences Urara Shiraishi, a delightful distinctions understudy. A slip-up causes them both to tumble down the steps, finishing in an advertent kiss. The pair find they can switch bodies with a kiss, a capacity that will end up being both advantageous and irksome. Learning of their new force, Toranosuke Miyamura, an understudy gathering official and the single individual from the Supernatural Studies Club, initiates them for the club. Before long joined by Miyabi Eto, a whimsical intrigued by everything extraordinary, the gathering uncovers the legend of the 7 witches of Suzaku High, 7 female understudies who have gotten various forces initiated by a kiss. The Supernatural Studies Club sets out on her first journey to discover the personalities of the multitude of witches. Number 4. Yona of the Dawn. In the kingdom of Koka, Princess Yona lives a life of blissful ignorance and luxury within the castle's wall. But when her cousin Suwon murders the king in order to overtake the throne, she is forced to leave her life of royalty behind. The only person who escapes with her is her childhood best friend and bodyguard, Son Hak. Together, they venture on a journey to find the legendary 4 dragon warriors who will help them reclaim the kingdom. If you're a fan of adventure and fantasy romances, you'll definitely find Yona of the Dawn to be a fun ride. While the story is about a young woman expanding her worldviews and maturing into an independent, kick-butt queen, it also follows the budding romance between Yona and Sona Hak. Their relationship, developing from childhood friends to love interest, makes for a heart-racing journey. But before we continue with the top 10 best supernatural romance anime, subscribe to our channel Curious Atmosphere so that you don't miss any future updates. Number 5. Fruits Basket. Fruits Basket follows an upbeat and cheerful girl named Toru Honda as she becomes embroiled in the complex and mysterious world of the Sama family. Due to a curse that was placed on them centuries ago, members of the Sama family transforms into the animals associated with the Chinese zodiac when they're hugged by the opposite sex. Because keeping their secret requires such extraordinary levels of isolation, the family is severely dysfunctional, something that Toru learns as she gets to know them. Through the process of trying to help heal the family's wounds, Toru develops romantic tension with some of the members, and she isn't the only one with a love story. Number 6. Hals Moving Castle. Despite being only 19 years old, Sophie Hatter lives the steady and predictable life of an elderly woman. When she earns the ire of a witch, she's cursed to transform into a 90-year-old version of herself. On her journey to try and restore her youth, she meets a visitor named Howl, who is not only powerful but is also one of the most extra people she's ever met. As her serious demeanor clashes with his carefree one, the two become better versions of themselves and grow closer together. In a world full of magic, a seemingly ordinary young woman finds love. Number 7. The Ancient Magus Bride. After finding herself completely alone in the world, Chase Hattori puts herself up for auction, hoping against hope to change for her life for the better. Elias Ainsworth, a mage with a cow skull for a head, buys her with the intention of helping her utilize her incredible latent power. While she does start learning how to control her abilities, she also comes to realize that she isn't alone. She's one of the countless other magical beings, and what's more, her relationship with Elias takes a turn for the romantic. The Ancient Magus' Bride is a beautiful told story with art that's hard to look away from, and it's well worth watching if you haven't already. Number 8. Your Name. Your Name is one of the most famous anime movies in recent history, so if you're a supernatural romance fan who has somehow missed it, you should add it to your watch-to list. This movie follows Taki and Mitsuha, two teenagers who find themselves swapping bodies despite never meeting before. As they live each other's lives, they get to know each other and start communicating through messages that they leave for one another. Just as they're starting to truly care for each other, Taki realizes that the two of them aren't in the same timeline, and that in this timeline, Mitsuha's entire town was wiped out by a meteor. To save her, he'll have to transcend time and space. Number 9. Inuyasha. For many anime fans, Inuyasha is one of the first anime of any kind that they've ever come across, as well as their first introduction to supernatural romance. The story follows Kogeme, a teenage girl whose life changes dramatically when she falls down a well near her family's shrine and is thrust backward in time into Sengoku period of Japan. During her travels, the wish-granting Shikon jewel is reborn inside of her, but it shatters during a fight. With the help of a half-demon named Inuyasha, who she will ultimately fall in love with, Kogami sets out to find and reassemble the jewel shards. Number 10. Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. If you're a Monogatari fan, or someone who likes Monotagari's premise but is overwhelmed by its length or its surreal vibe, Rascal Does Not Dream of a Bunny Girl Senpai offers a similar experience. After his bout with the puberty syndrome, a mysterious condition that causes things like a sourceless wound that can open up on their own, memory loss, invisibility, time loops, and more, Sakura makes it his mission to help out other people who are going through the same thing. The first person he helps, Mai Sakurajima, ends up becoming his girlfriend. Based on what we think is worthy, subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any future updates. If you have more about it, please feel free to share them with us. Share them in the comments below and wait for our interesting topics coming soon. If you think they deserve to be on this list, share your opinion in the comments below.